Ladies and gentlemen, you can always count on some people taking something negative and trying to add a positive twist to it, and it's just not cutting it, if you know what I mean. Americans aren't having children, and it might help the economy. No, it isn't. Okay, the only thing that's going to help an economy is population. Okay, the more population that you have, the more working class people you have. Plain and simple. So just lay back, everybody. Here's another feel good piece just to pacify those that are not reproducing themselves. All right, so let's go ahead and play this video.
Hello and welcome to IB Times TV. Today is Monday, August 1st. I'm Marisa Christian. According to the UN, the world population is expected to breach 7 billion in this year, which is twice the number of people that lived just 50 years ago. The population is expected to exceed 9 billion by 2050 and 10.1 billion by 2100. The numbers are drastically larger than anything we've experienced before, and scientists are very concerned about the Earth's sustainability and the potential impact the surplus of humans will have on the world. The world reached 1 billion people in 1800 and 2 billion people in 1925. For the next 45 years, an estimated 2.3 billion more people will be added, with 97% of the growth in developing regions. In Africa alone, the population doubles every 20 years, making it impossible for communities to keep up with the growing demand for housing, roads, schools, and health clinics. In certain developed countries like Japan and Germany, the growth rate is expected to stay flat or even decline. In these coming decades, these countries could face a crisis as society fails to produce enough adults to care for the elderly. Meanwhile, global life expectancy is also expected to rise to from 69 to 76 in 2050. Longer lifespans and lower death rates play a role in explaining population growth, but the variable that will make the biggest difference is the fertility rate. Experts feel we need to tackle some tough issues ranging from lack of contraception, knowledge action gaps, and reforms to our retirement and global immigration policies. Marisa Christian, IB Times TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you something. There is no way the Most High created this earth and it's not enough room on it for everybody. Even if the population went to 15 billion on this earth, don't you know it would still be plenty of room on this earth? I want you to take notice too, every time you're driving, notice all of the empty land mass in this country that's not even being used. I see it here in New Jersey. I can pass by land and it's just nothing but grass on the land. It's no house there. It's no business there. It's just this wide space of land. And this is not just New Jersey. This is all over the country. Anybody can probably drive past a few fields in your state that's not even being used. Don't tell me there's not enough room on this planet. They just keep talking that mess because they really want just a certain group of people on this earth, and they want to be able to eliminate and expel everybody else. But here's the problem. The people that want these things are the ones that can't reproduce themselves. So if they eliminate everybody except for themselves, ultimately, the only thing that's going to be left on this earth are animals and bugs. They can't even sustain themselves right now. Their life expectancy is only 3 years longer than Black people. You know, can you imagine that? For centuries, having all of the money, all of the resources, all of everything, all the handouts and everything in this country, and all you've accomplished is 3 years longer than Black people as far as life expectancy. I think that is a scream. I do. I think that's hilarious. That's nothing to brag about. But there's no way there's not enough room on this earth. You know, I've even heard Africans talking. You see the size of that African continent, and they talk about all this empty land all over Africa. There's no way there's not enough room. When they talk like that, it's just code language for, we want to get certain people off of this earth. We want to exterminate people. There's enough room on this earth, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ever believe that talk. That is just them doing what they done since they came out of those caves, and that's kill en masse. They're just looking for any excuse and any reason to kill people en masse on this earth. But there is no way there's not enough room. Can you imagine our Heavenly Father, who is the most superior being ever, don't have sense enough to create an earth that's enough room for everybody? It makes no kind of damn sense. Don't ever believe that when you hear it. All you're doing is listening to the rhetoric of somebody that claimed they got a high IQ, but really don't have one at all. I could walk out my front door right now and go to several spots in New Jersey, several, where there's nothing on the land, and that land can easily be used for something. But there's nothing there on the land. It's just this wide space with grass. That's it. And then when you go more inland, the Midwest, there's even more land and space in this country. There is no way we're running out of space. We ain't running out of no damn space. That's just their code language of saying, we want to be the only ones here. We need to figure out a way to eliminate some of these dark people off the earth. That's all that is. Let your ears hear the correct thing. Just imagine that our Heavenly Father don't know that there's not enough land on the earth, but the people that crawled out of the caves know there's not enough land on this earth. Woo, you can't make it up. Okay, at the end of the day, their alleged elites came from the goddamn caves too. Never lose sight of that. They always talk like these elites or something else. Those motherfuckers are cave beasts too. Let's move on. I'm done with my ranting. Let me get on with this article. Americans are having fewer children, and it might be a good thing for the economy. It's good for them. Okay, after looking at the shape of this world, it's nothing but violence everywhere. There's nowhere on this earth you can point to and it's not violent. Every nation is violent. That's what we have gotten under their leadership, a violent world. It's not just America, it's everywhere. That's what we got. But they have poisoned everybody into believing their leadership is the best leadership in the universe. It's not, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be poisoned by that. Their leadership may be the only one we know in this lifetime, but it's by no means the best we can do. Absolutely not. And if it wasn't the best we could do, you wouldn't see them trying so hard to suppress everybody else's rise, because they know it would be better than theirs. See, that's why jealous mobs had to keep torching black towns that were prospering, ladies and gentlemen. They had to lynch black businessmen who were prospering because we were doing better. And they had to do something to stop you. So that's where the white mob became useful in trying to torch as many things black people were accomplishing. And they still have that mob mentality against you. Now, what they do is they use the media to psychologically poison every group against us on this earth. That's the white mob now. The media represents the white mob. Stay tuned for the next black man they go after. We got Bill Cosby, and you see all of those cases of those women are being thrown out left and right. You saw how they ridiculed Michael Jackson. You are seeing how they're going after Marshawn Lynch and all of the NFL players. You notice every time they go after black men, with a lot of money. They use their media as a tool to use against that black man to destroy it. What they do is try to destroy your character to everyone. But I want you to also take notice to the fact that it's not having the impact that it once did years ago. Yes, they dragged Bill Cosby through the mud, but there are still a lot of people that don't believe those women. It don't have the impact that it did before. It's really losing its potency. And the reason why it's losing it, ladies and gentlemen, is because a lot of people are turning that media off. They see it for what it is. It's just a propaganda tool to keep their lies going and keep everybody brainwashed in the country. But those of us that are awake, we know better. And we know not to believe everything that we hear on TV. Everybody is wising up. Not everybody, but there's a great deal of people that are. And right now, the media is the only way they can keep the masses mesmerized. But I want you to always take notice to the fact when you start weaning your way far from the media, do you notice how instantly you start seeing things differently? Last time I had a television in my bedroom was probably going on 12 years ago. And the more I start weaning myself away from the media, the more I start seeing things for what they really are. You get from under the spell, because it's really witchcraft. You get away from it. And once your ears are not hearing it every day, you change. You change. And then when you get in front of it, you ever notice once you get away from the media, and then when you go back maybe once or twice out of the year to go back and listen, you're instantly thinking, they're lying. I don't believe that. That's how I am. Unbelievable. But it's far better to read your information than to listen to it from them. Number one, when you read it, whenever you read something, you remember it a lot better than if you hear it. Because when you hear it, you're only mouthing the words of the people that are censoring everything. American media is very censored. The only way you can get from around it is coming online and reading your news and going to sources outside of America and getting your news. You get a lot more from foreign news than you ever will from American news. American news to me is nothing more than watching an entertainment show on TV. That's all it really is. It's just entertainment. It's not real news at all. When you read, you can form your own opinion. When you watch it on TV, you're forming the opinions of others. And therefore, they can keep you docile and keep control over you. So I said it before and I'll say it again. Black people, turn the media off. Turn it off. It's very anti-Black anyway. Why would you want to listen to it? Turn it off. There's no value in listening to their news at all. Between 2007, which was the year before the Great Recession, and 2016, the number of U.S. births dropped by 338,000, or 8.7%. The organization cities in how millennials are slowing U.S. population growth and enhancing sustainability study published last Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, don't buy this feel-good stuff. I'm going to read this to you, but there is no way. Populations always prosper when they have a good, healthy birth rate. These people can't reproduce. So they're going to somehow twist this narrative around and make you believe not reproducing is great for the economy. And don't buy this. Don't buy it. It's a propaganda piece. That's all this is. During the same period, national fertility rates of births per 1,000 women of childbearing age from 15 to 44 years old fell from 69.3 to 62, a historic low. Birth rates for women under 30 also reached record lows in 2016. The study states, okay, so keep up with this story, whatever. Negative Population is a membership-based organization founded in 1972 to educate the American public and political leaders about the devastating effects of overpopulation on our environment, resources, and standard of living, according to its website. It's bullshit. There is no overpopulation in America. There's no overpopulation on this earth. Again, there's more than enough room for everybody on this earth. Let 2018 be an awakening for those that are still not awake. This is just feel good info for the ones that can't reproduce. They want you to believe that populating the earth is a bad thing. Overpopulation. Oh my God, there is no overpopulation. There has never been any overpopulation on this planet, ladies and gentlemen, since the planet has been here. Okay, there has never been any overpopulation since we've been here. Again, this is just a feel-good piece for those that can't reproduce. Let's move on. The paper acknowledged that demographers are freaked out by the falling birth rate. See, this is the truth. They are freaking out by the falling birth rate, but economists have made with peace with shrinking population not necessarily being bad. This is a feel-good piece. If you don't have a population, then you won't have much of an economy. If you have a shrinking population, then you are ultimately going to have a shrinking economy. You can't have one without the other, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's get back to this feel-good piece. While GDP may slow, the study states, referring to the government's main measure of economic growth. A better measure of the country's economic health, GDP per capita, can benefit. This is especially relevant in a world where robots and other technologies threaten jobs of many Americans. And that's another falsehood, ladies and gentlemen. You know, even robots need humans around for when they malfunction. You might have some robotic things, especially like in manufacturing, taking over certain things, but the humans are always going to have to be there to make sure all of those robotic, you know, mechanical technologies function properly. You can't ever X out the human. Okay, so don't get into these again. These are just fantasy pieces. That's all this is. You got to see it for what it is. The study also acknowledges that fewer children means fewer workers contributing to Social Security and Medicare programs, but that parents in smaller families can invest more in each child's education, increasing their productivity and making up for the fact that there are fewer of them. No, not really. Because, see, what you're not considering is you're raising those fewer children in a very drug infested country. So my question is, how many of those fewer kids are going to turn around and be hooked on drugs and then they become non-productive? All right, let's get in. Let's just move forward into this feel-good piece here. Just look at China, Germany, and Japan, countries where vibrant economies have coexisted with below replacement fertility rates for decades. The paper states, first of all, Japan, go look at how fast they're dying out from the Fukushima disaster. And our queen, Sister Ajali, has brought this out numerous times. And go look at the babies they're having with all of the defects. And many of them are born, stillborn, and they are completely badly deformed. In fact, I was reading a piece earlier this year how they are encouraging abortion in Japan because there are so many babies that are just, I mean, they're literally birthing monsters. They're so badly deformed. And as far as Germany is concerned, look at how many Muslims are now taking over Germany and the African migrants. Europe is, literally being swallowed by foreigners now. See, they're doing to you what you did to them. You came and invaded their land, you colonized them. So now they're coming to Europe, they're coming to Europe and invading you. Just never thought that was going to ever come back on you. And as far as China kind of screwed themselves. They went through decades and decades and decades of not allowing people to have large families. You were allowed to have one child. Remember that? They went through that. That's now biting them in the ass, where they were only allowed to have one child per family. And they did that for many decades. If there was a second child, that a woman was forced to have an abortion. Now they're being screwed over by that. So, don't let this piece try to make it seem like, oh, with less population, look how great you can do. It's a lie. All right. Declining birth rate could mean a smaller workforce. If you have a smaller workforce, then that's less money coming into the economy. It's not a good thing. Reduction in tax revenues and fewer seats filled in classrooms. Migrants can fill in some of the gaps, but fewer people are entering the U.S. from Mexico, where a large influx came from. Unlike their parents, millennials likely will have fewer children, rent rather than buy a home, often owe large amounts in student loans, and may not spend lavishly due to their worldwide shape by the Great Recession. Negative growth in both population and consumption is nothing less than a perfect storm, the study states. Should it continue, NPG's goal of sustainable U.S. economy, in which the utilization of scarce resources equals the ability of our ecosystem to replenish those resources will be attainable. This is a bullshit piece, y'all. It's a bullshit piece. This is only to just understand, this Newsweek article is only to make those that can't reproduce feel good. That's what this is. That's all this is. Please tell me what you think. Maybe you don't agree with me, and that's cool. But please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. And don't forget to hit on that notification bell. And if you can, make a donation to my channel, I would deeply appreciate it. Peace, family.